The rain had started before dawn, tapping gently against the white glass windows of the 12th floor penthouse in Victoria Island. Lagos stretched beneath like a beast that never slept, horns blaring, kiki riders weaving through the chaos, the neon lights of roadside suyo spots flickering beside perfume-sprayed hawkers yelling in pidgin. But high above it all, in a space designed for the wealthy and disconnected, Amoka stood barefoot, staring at her wedding photograph. In the picture, she smiled like a woman who believed in forever. Her husband, Derek Okonkwo, stood tall beside her, his arm wrapped tightly around her waist. His eyes held a calm certainty that had drawn her to him from the beginning, the calmness, the quiet strength, the way he spoke gently, even when angry. But that morning, as lightning split across the skyline, all Amoka saw in his face was a secret. She held an old, yellowing photograph in her hand. It had fallen out of a dusty diary she had picked up from her late father's wooden chest while visiting her childhood home in Enugu. The diary had belonged to her mother, Angela. Tucked between two brittle pages was a photo of a younger Angela, radiant, eyes closed in laughter. Behind her, pressing his lips softly to her neck, stood a man. Young, muscular, lighter-skinned. It was Derek. Amoka had stared at it for minutes, unsure if grief was playing tricks on her mind. Then she flipped the photo. On the back, in her mother's unmistakable cursive, he said he'd never leave me. Even if I became your mother. Her heart plummeted. She flew back to Lagos that night, barely speaking a word to Derek as he met her at the airport with his usual quiet affection. That night, while he slept beside her, peaceful as always, Amoka lay awake, the photo clenched in her palm. Derek had always been mysterious about his past. He claimed to have studied abroad in the US, returned to Lagos to build his real estate empire. He said his parents were both dead and refused to speak much about his youth. She'd assumed he was simply scarred by loss, like she was. Now she wondered if she'd married a lie. Over the next few days, she watched him differently. Studied the curve of his lips, the cadence of his voice, the way he called her Nkem, mine. Was it real affection or haunting familiarity? Her mother had once told her that love and obsession often wear the same clothes. Had she watched her daughter fall in love with a man she once gave her body to? Or had she been just as shocked? Amoka called her under the pretense of needing a recipe for ofoweri. She asked casually about her youth, about old friends. Angela Izo's voice stiffened. Why are you asking these things now? No reason, Amoka lied. I found an old diary of yours. There was a pause. Then her mother's voice dropped. Burn it. Instead, Amoka booked a flight. She needed to see the woman who raised her, who once hid behind silence and pain, who always looked out the window when Amoka asked about her father's death. The Enugu compound smelled of hibiscus and rust. Her mother stood by the corridor, arms folded, face expressionless as always. Amoka walked past her, straight into the sitting room, pulled out the photo, and placed it on the coffee table. Angela sat without a word. Her hand reached for the photo slowly, like it was hot to touch. I was 25, she whispered. He said his name was Chuka. Not Derek. She shook her head. He was smooth. Mysterious. Kind. I didn't know he was just a boy with too many lives. When I got pregnant, he vanished. Amoka's breath caught. You were pregnant. I lost the baby, her mother said, voice flat. Your father died shortly after. I buried everything. I never saw him again. Until your wedding. She didn't cry. Angela never cried. But her hands trembled. Back in Lagos, Amoka knew something inside her was unraveling. She started losing sleep. Watched Derek from the corners of her eyes. Every touch felt colder. Every compliment felt rehearsed. One night, she faked sleep and watched him sit at the edge of their bed, staring at her in the dark. She ran a private background check. Paid more than she could afford. The results returned in a plain brown envelope. Derek Okonkwo did not exist 15 years ago. His birth name was Derek Ebochukwuma. Born in Enugu. Attended secondary school there. Never traveled abroad until recently. The rest was a carefully built life, business connections, name changes, new documents. He had erased the past. Her past. Amoka broke into his old email accounts. One, long abandoned, still existed. Among the spam and old bank statements, she found a folder. It was titled Letters Never Sent. Inside, dozens of drafts. All addressed to her mother. Angela, I didn't know how to face you. I saw her, your daughter, at a business conference in Lekki. At first, I didn't recognize her. But the way she walked, the way she laughed, it haunted me. I tried to disappear again. But I couldn't. I followed her. I studied her. I loved her. I married her. I married your daughter. Amoka dropped the laptop. Her world swayed. The man who kissed her neck with love once kissed her mother the same way. The man who promised her children once abandoned the child he almost had. What kind of man was Derek? What kind of woman had she become? She confronted him that night. He didn't deny it. I tried to walk away, Derek said quietly. But I fell in love with you. Truly. You loved her too. I was a boy then. I'm a man now. And I chose you. No, Amoka said, her voice shaking. You didn't choose me. You circled me like prey. You chose to rewrite the ending you failed to finish with my mother. He knelt before her. Cried. Pleaded. Said he would leave if she asked. Said he would never love anyone else. Angela flew into Lagos the next day. She walked into the house like a funeral was about to begin. I'm sorry, she said. I should have warned you. But how do you tell your daughter that her husband once held you in the dark and whispered dreams into your ears? He didn't just whisper to me, Amoka replied. He kissed the same places. He promised the same things. And now, I can't tell which memories are mine. She packed Derek's bags. He stood by the door, shoulders sagging, not fighting. You broke me, Amoka said. But I won't break myself for you. I will heal. Alone. And you will carry this forever. 1 year passed. Amoka moved into a quieter part of Lagos, near the shores of Elash. She founded an organization for women with complicated grief. Women who had been betrayed by silence, by generational secrets, by men who loved too much and not enough. One afternoon, beneath a coconut tree, she received a letter in a brown envelope. I never knew love could break 2 generations. I hope you find peace where I brought pain. She folded the letter. Let the sea breeze take her hair. Somewhere far behind her, the city roared with life. But inside her, it was quiet. Healing. And finally, real.